Okay, so far we've had a solid week of practice. We've had three good ones in a row. Just trying to get ourselves prepared for Washington, trying to get ourselves prepared for game shape. And so it's been really good. As far as the preparation goes, it's really been good as far as the attention to detail and all that. We're going to finish up this week. Tomorrow morning, we're going to get up early like we have done the last few seasons. We're going to have a practice. In the past, it's been more of a walkthrough just as far as the game mechanics and different situations, but we're going to actually practice and do that on the game field, and that'll be real early in the morning. And then we're going to let our guys go spend the day with their family on Saturday, and then come back Sunday, and then we'll get in our game week routine. Updates as far as position battles and all that are kind of up. Our offensive line, really the same situation at this point as what Coach Grimes talked about the other day. Our punters are still in a good battle. We will have the complete depth chart for you on Tuesday, and then we'll go from there. But overall, it's been good this week. I think everybody's ready to get in a routine as far as game week and everything that goes with that. And so this weekend will be a good weekend for our coaches to get everything together for the first game too. So questions?
Gus, now that you've had a chance to see this 2018 class in person for a few weeks, how does it sort of stack up to the other newcomers you've had in other classes?
Boy, I tell you what, you can tell they're talented. I'll say that first. I like them. They got character. They got talent. You're going to see quite a few of those young guys on the field, the first game. And, they'll grow as they get more experience. But they're a very talented group, and excited, to watch, how they progress throughout the year.
Would you say it's your best group you brought in?
It could be. I'd rather wait a little bit until we see a game or two, just to be fair. But it's one of the best as far as talent up to this point. But my experience as far as the freshmen goes, some of them get out there and they're ready to play, they're game ready, and then it takes some a little bit longer to get the jitters out, and that's usually by individual basis. So, the fact that we're going to have quite a few young guys that first game out on the field, and I think you'll see quite a few young guys actually touching the ball. Of course, that stresses me, that ball security. We got to do a super job with that when they have the ball in their hands.
Gus, in a perfect world, would you rather play a lesser game the first game than maybe play a game like this the next game?
I think each year's different, and you play the schedule that you've been given, and so you look at it. Every year's different, and we're playing Washington, and the facts are they're one of the top teams in the country. You watch them on defense, and they're as good as advertised. Offensively, they have a bunch of weapons and very sound, and their special teams, they were very good too. So, like I said earlier, I think it's a good test about where we're at, and it should be a good one.
The last two seasons, for whatever reason, the offensive line has gotten off to a slow start. It's been added near the bottom after 3 weeks, and TFL's allowed.
Yeah.
You're making a lot of changes, obviously, on the right side. Do you have confidence that will change, especially against an opponent?
Yeah, of course, 2 years ago when we were playing against one of the best defenses, defensive lines, and, that first game last year, there was some new guys like you're talking about. We had a couple busts that ended up costing some big plays, and, that's been a focus, I've tried to eliminate the negative plays. Obviously the sacks, that's really from an offensive standpoint. That's the big picture thing that we've really been focusing on, eliminating the sacks and the negative plays. And so, that's been on our mind. That's been something we worked extremely hard doing. And really the thing about the first game, a lot of it's adjustments too. So, you predict how they're going to play certain ways, and you get out there and they may have a complete different plan. So first games are also about adjustments. So I expect there'll be some adjustments that'll need to be made, throughout the game.
Gus, where do you see with a second-year quarterback coming in with the strength of Stidham, with this younger line coming in, where is the focus more on pocket protection or
I think there's there's going to be a strategy and a game plan that, with all that in mind. I do know that, the offensive line, when you think protection, it's not just offensive line, it's running backs, and it's the quarterback too, everything that goes with it. But I will say this, they're a close bunch. I know they're going to be battling as much as they can battle. So, I feel good right now. The fact that, our quarterback's who he is. He understands, the offense better than he did last year. And then, we do have some veteran guys that have played, and I think that's good. Just the two spots, the center and the right tackle spots. I mean, those are going to be new guys. And so, but I know they're going to battle.
How's the health of your team? What's the latest on Newkirk and Brahms, some of the guys that have
Yeah, Brahms and Newkirk have actually been through, the regular practice. They weren't limited in any capacity. I think they're coming along. We'll see, as far as playing first game and all that. But the fact that they took their orange jerseys off in practice, I think that's a positive thing, moving forward.
When you look through your previous seasons, an elite quarterback is someone that not only has the numbers, but they make everybody around him better. Do you have that in Jarrett from what you've seen in preseason camp, and if so, why?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the country, and we're very fortunate to have him. And he is a guy that makes people around him better. And is not just his ability on the field, but his leadership. And I think all the above when you got a guy like that. And like I said before, I think he's only the second returning starter that we've had since I've been here in those 9 years. And so I think that's a really good feeling. Even though we got youth in some other areas that I talked about earlier, when you got a quarterback and you got a guy that we think's a special quarterback, that gives you a chance. And so we're very glad we have him.
Last year, Marlon had to deal with injuries
Mhm.
in fall camp and
Yeah.
into the season. How much of a difference have you seen with him this camp?
Yeah, you're exactly right. In fall camp he did have an injury, and I think it kind of nagged him the whole year. I think he's about as healthy as he's been in a long time, and I think that's a really good thing because he's an impact player. I mean, he can impact a game, by himself.
I know last season, Chip started the year on the sideline, then you moved him up to the press box. He goes stay in the press box.
Yeah, he is. That's his comfort zone anyway. And you saw when he got in a rhythm, probably week 4 on, he got in a rhythm, and that's his comfort zone. That's where he'll be.
Gus, today the SEC coaches team came out, wasn't a single Auburn player on the first team. Is that something you might want to use as motivation?
Yeah, I mean, our guys know that. I mean, but this is preseason. At the end of the season, that's when you worry about all that. And I think our team's mature enough to know that. And I can't remember how many we had this time last year, but at the end of the year we had quite a few. So that's something that probably fans and media really look at. But just to be completely honest with you, I mean, individual guys may have a chip on their shoulder, but it's all about the end, just like our team. We're ranked higher or whatever. That doesn't mean anything until we play. And so.
It seems like y'all come out of fall camp more healthy than you have been in the past. Is that the case?
I think so. I think so. It's, and we've been very physical, which we've needed. Anytime you got a new line and you're trying to, evaluate them and everything that goes with it, you've got to be physical, and we've done that. And so far, it's been a pretty good, camp as far as health.
Have you done more good on good this fall?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, at least probably since 13. We've done a whole lot of good on good. We've tried to really worry about ourselves, up until, probably about 4 practices ago.
You talked earlier than you have in the past about how these first games, it's usually about the team that makes the better adjustments at halftime. And that'll only be magnified as being the opener, and also, Gus Malzahn, Chris Peterson, the 2 staffs, the way they are. How do you see that, as a coach? How do you handle something like that? Do you feel confident in your bunch?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, there's probably more adjustments in the first game than any other game because it's a new season, and you've got the whole off season, and you watch every game the opponent played, and and usually there's a few tweaks in all areas, and then you think about the tendencies and breaking I mean, there's a whole lot that goes with that, and you've got to adjust, and you know, you got to execute and you got to adjust.
How much time, you know, in retrospect, when you watch teams and then you go and play them the first week, have you probably actually wasted watching film and then end up not doing anything?
Yeah, a whole lot, but that's normal for every coach, and that's normal for every team. And you know, the biggest thing in the first game is you got to be, as a coach, you got to be prepared for all the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? And I just know from a coordinator standpoint, I mean there's a lot that goes with that. And you know, they'll have a lot of information, and you know, as quick as both of them find out what the other's doing, and vice versa. I mean, that's when you start with the plan. So, and sometimes the first games it takes, you know, more than a quarter. You know, most games after the first quarter you have a good idea, but first game sometimes it takes a little more than that up until the half. So we'll see what happens.
You and Peterson been known for trick plays, and obviously everybody remembers the hook and ladder from the Fiesta Bowl with
Yeah.
Peterson.
Mhm.
You know, your Woody play and all that. Do you have anything up your sleeve for the first game? You've been more conservative in recent years.
First of all, he's like the guru with trick plays, and he's really good at it. He knows how to execute them. He knows when to call them. That's always been what's impressed me, you know. And I just think that's his philosophy, you know. And we'll see what happens. Every game you have a different philosophy about how aggressive you want to be, and you know, I know Chip's an aggressive guy, and I like that.
Have you narrowed things down at all at Wildcat?
We'll see first game.
Well, I didn't even ask if you're going to run the first game.
Well, I know. We'll see. I've already kind of answered. I probably already told too much on that Wildcat stuff, so we may not even run Wildcat this year. We'll see.
Because when you look at their secondary, because like their front seven, they lose a really key piece in the middle there, so it's harder to judge when they don't have a monster of a nose tackle. But their secondary returns basically everybody.
Yeah.
When you take a look at their whole season, what have you seen from them, and what makes them so?
Yeah, I think what makes them, I think they're really good, first of all, but they're talented, they're experienced, and they know their defense. I mean, they know their answers, and what's impressed me about them, if they ever give up anything, they make an adjustment in a hurry. But up front, they're very good too. I know they lost, you know, number 50, which was an impact player, but they've got some other guys, and most of those other guys are back, and they were top 10 defense last year, and you can tell they play with confidence. They fly to the football, and they're very physical. They're fun to watch on film.
At the end of camp, you said the focus has been real good, and energy, has it still been that way this
Yeah,
week?
still has. I mean, we got a solid group as far as character and as far as leadership. But we got a solid group, you know, and I'm glad that we got them.
Just a little off topic, but I know some of us are going to tour the game day facility tomorrow. What kind of feedback have you gotten just from the recruits you've been able to take over there and everybody else?
Yeah, you know,
And the team.
yeah, recruits, a lot of positive response, but you know, our players, I mean, they're like, we took them over there, I guess last week, picture day, they were on cloud 9. I mean, it's got the wow factor. It's really something. You know, our locker room is completely different than it was. It's bigger, it's more open, and of course our recruiting area is really state of the art and has all the bells and whistles, and it's really impressive, and it's really a game changer when you go over there, you know, compared to what we've had in the past.
Anybody else?
Thank you all.